The instructions for assignment 4 can be found in the assignments area or in the syllabus area of our Canvas course site. This project is going to give you some practice using landscape-only orientations, doing some more work with constraints and horizontal chains, wiring up multiple views to a single event handler or onClick function, and writing some functions in your Kotlin code that cause everything to work. The idea behind this is the user can tap the various bits of a 24-bit color system, see the resulting red, green, blue channel decimal values, and the resulting hexadecimal color code, and then that color is applied to the background or the constraint layout of our app. I give you some tips in terms of creating gradients and strokes. I've also done a video on that. Showed you how I laid out my storyboard and what I named each of the different objects. Talked about the fact I use a horizontal chain with the chain type set to packed. Gave a tip on how to design for landscape orientation. Again, there's a video on that. And then how to set up a 6-digit hexadecimal value. You can use the toString with 16 as the parameter for that method, which uses hexadecimal values, but if the value is less than 16, it's going to give you just 1 digit. So I created an if statement here that would add a 0 in front of that if that was the case for each of the red, green, and blue values. And then how to change the constraint layout background using that hex value. You can call color.parseColor and pass it the hex value. 2 points for the interface, 2 points for the coding. Let's take a look at the app. So again, the app is landscape only. So even in portrait orientation, we're still going to see the landscape layout. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. And so the idea is we can click any of these bits and change the color that is represented. And we see the decimal value for the red channel, the green channel, the blue channel, and then the hexadecimal representation of those combined, and setting the color of the background to that color reference. Very quickly, I'm going to go in and show you my layout. So I've got a text view up here. This is just simply offset from the top and the left. I then created my first text view, and I set mine to 60 dp width and wrapping the content. And then I simply copied and duplicated that. I gave this one a name of TV uppercase R 128, since this is the 128-bit, 64-bit, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. And I named the others accordingly. So TV R64, TV R32. Down here we have TVG for green, 128. TVB 128 for blue, TVG1 and TVB1, and then everything named accordingly in between those. I set a starting constraint of 0 for my first left bit, and for the 1 bit over on the far right, I gave it a constraint of 150, and then I created a chain of those 8 together. I also offset this by 60 pixels from the bottom of my text view at the top, which is basically the title. And then I did the same thing with the green, and here I set these with an offset of 24 and 24 from the blue to the green. I put a text view in between the top of the red and the bottom of the green, so it's kind of centered in between those. I aligned the end horizontal to be flush with the end horizontal of my text view, showing the decimal value. And these I named TVR value, TVG value, and TVB value. This one up here is my TV hex value. And so I set it, the bottom of it constrained to the top of my red value, and then again set the end constraint flush with the red value text view. I created gradients for each of these, which I've demonstrated in another video, but I have a stroke blue, a stroke green, and a stroke red, which gives a gradient and a box, and I set the background of each of these objects accordingly to those 3 different shapes that I created. So you can watch the video on how that was done. That is some helps in getting you started in laying out and creating your binary RGB app. If you just jumped into this video, you can see all the videos from the Android App Development Cohort playlist by clicking on the image in the lower right. And if you'd like to be alerted to future videos that I create, you can click my picture up in the top right and subscribe to the channel.